So I immigrated here. I was born in India. I immigrated here at 3 years old, or 2.5 years old when I was a kid. My parents came here from India. Very hardworking people, very religious, very conservative family, I'd say. We were always told by my mom that education is important, and that our whole goal was to be educated. I recently graduated from one of the University of California campuses here in California, where I live, and I was pretty far left. I was a liberal, I'd say, my whole life up until last year. Last year, I got the red pill, and I officially declared myself a Republican this year. After a lot of research, thought, and just overall looking at the policies passed by this current administration. I gotta say, the only reason I was ever a liberal or a Democrat was because I was told I need to be one. People see my skin color, or they see that I'm an immigrant and say, hey, the Democrats they're for the people, they're for brown people, they're for the minority. And I was always told Republicans are racist and they don't want me to have certain rights and all this sort of nonsense. And, come to find out, one of Trump's appointments, I believe our secretary for the United Nations is actually an Indian woman, Nikki Haley. So anyways, I did some research. I looked at both of the party platforms, and I realized that I actually have more in common with the Republican Party than I do with the Democratic Party, especially the current Democratic Party. I had an incident happen last year here in Merced, which is a very liberal area now because we have this university here, and it involved a conflict between an African American who was disobedient to a law officer, and said law officer had a broken jaw. So long story short, there was a suspect wanted in this hookah lounge here in Merced. The local police went over to get him. They had a warrant and everything, but the majority of the kids there were African American. They acted up. There was a conflict, and pretty soon this video went viral about the cops racially profiling these kids. And I saw that, and that was, I guess, what red pilled me, what exposed me. And I couldn't believe that the excuses they were making for these kids, when they weren't listening to these cops or they were being disobedient to the cops were there to do their job. And I thought that was just complete bullshit, to be honest with you. Like, I've had plenty of run-in with cops, and I don't know if the camera can show, but I'm pretty brown, and nothing's ever happened to me. If I get pulled over for a ticket, I'm polite. I get my ticket, and if I have anything to say about it, I'll just show up to court. And then the school I graduated from started, they got behind the African American students and started saying that they were victims of racism, and it was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe it. And I guess at that point, I started looking into other things. I started looking into the 1 in 4 statistic that they threw around on campus when I was there, that 1 in 4 women on campus were raped. I started looking into the wage gap. I started looking into everything, really. I even dove into the history of both political parties, and everything that had to do with civil rights, everything that had to do with freedom. Had the Republicans were on the forefront fighting for that stuff. Women's suffrage, all that was done by the Republicans. And the Democrats try to peg racism on the Republicans, which is kind of ironic, and sexism too. But anyways, I just wanted to give an overview of my story. I will probably never be voting Democrat again as long as I live. And I hope more and more people are walking away every day. This is a great movement. Thank you, Brandon, for starting it. Trust me, there's plenty more people like us, like me, out there that are just so done with the tactics of the left and this intimidation and the bullying of people that think differently. And, we want America. We want the America that we always loved, the freedom of speech. We want everything. And we just want to be respected, even though we have different opinions. Thank you.